You're not lazy, and you're not lacking discipline. You've opened your laptop, written the first line, and said, okay, today is going to be the day, and then nothing. Instead, you scroll, you clean, you putter around your house, anything but that thing that you want and need to do. That's not laziness. That's a part of you going into freeze and quietly stopping you from moving forward. It's why you keep starting and stopping, or you just don't start at all. Hi, everyone. I'm Esther. For over 21 years, I have helped successful, soulful women who are doing all the right things, but still not getting the results they want, finally create the life that they desire. So let's start here. You're not lazy. I know that's a word a lot of women use. I have used it myself, but that's not actually what's happening when you think that you are lazy. What is happening is that a part of you doesn't feel safe. And when that part of you feels unsafe, your entire system doesn't move you forward. It slows you down. You pause, you avoid. Sometimes you shut down completely and freeze. So on the surface, it looks like laziness. Now, if you were truly lazy, you wouldn't care, but you do care. You think about what you want to do, and you do want to do it. You tell yourself, I'm going to start today. And then the moment comes and you hesitate, you pause, and you don't move into action. That's not laziness. That's a part of you putting the brakes on because something about moving forward doesn't feel safe. It just doesn't feel right. So what does this actually look like in real life? It's not always about the big things like building a business or finding a relationship. Sometimes it's much simpler than that. You don't feel like getting up and getting dressed. You don't feel like going to work. You don't feel like doing the dishes. And you call that laziness. But it's not about the dishes, and those small moments aren't random. They are often connected to something deeper. And when you start to look at those moments a little bit more closely, you begin to see patterns that did not start today. Maybe you have tried before to put yourself out there. You've applied for jobs, taken the steps and the risks, and situations didn't go the way you expected. So now there's a part of you that says, let's not do that again. And this pattern doesn't just show up in one area of life. It may show up in many. For instance, socially. Perhaps you used to be more open to attend social events, family gatherings, mingling, and now a part of you would rather stay home, watch Netflix, scroll Instagram to see what other people are up to. Being social through social media while lying in your bed. Not because you don't want connection, but because something inside of you is trying to avoid being misunderstood, being rejected, not feeling like you don't belong. Or maybe it's your business or just the next step in your life. You have ideas, you have things you could do, but there's a part of you that holds back because what if it becomes too much? What if it doesn't work? Or if it does work and your whole life changes, what then? So instead of moving forward, that part slows everything down. And this is where the freeze response comes in. Not dramatic, not obvious, but very real. Freeze looks like scrolling instead of initiating, overthinking instead of deciding, staying in planning mode instead of taking action, telling yourself, I will do it tomorrow. I'm just going to watch one more video. I'm not really feeling it today. And one day of that type of behavior feels harmless, but then it becomes 2 days and then a week and then months go by and you're still in the same place wondering why nothing is changing. I once worked with a woman who described herself exactly this way. She said, "I'm just lazy. I don't follow through. I don't do what I say I am going to do." And she laughed it off, but it bothered her enough that she reached out to me for help. When we actually looked at her life, we saw very quickly that being lazy was not true. There were many areas of her life where she had followed through. She had, in fact, manifested big changes in her life. She moved to a new city, found a good job with advancement potential. She built a life for herself in that city, supported herself. From the outside, everything looked fine, but internally, she felt overwhelmed, disconnected, unsatisfied, living someone else's dream. And every time she thought about making a change, getting a different job, doing something new, expanding her life, she couldn't get herself to move. So she called it laziness. But when we connected with her lazy part, we saw something completely different. That part was trying to protect her from creating another life that didn't feel right, putting herself out there again and being disappointed, taking a risk and not having it work. So it used laziness as a strategy, whispering things to her like, "Nah, it's better to just stay home. You deserve some time to yourself sitting on the sofa. We'll do it tomorrow. It's just you, and you don't have to do anything you don't want to do." And little by little, that became her pattern. But once we understood what that part was actually doing, protecting her, and why, we were able to work with it. Not push it, not override it. Instead, we created awareness, freed it from limiting beliefs and patterns, and opened it up to new possibilities. And as that protection program started to dissolve, her inner drive came back online. Her ability to act, to choose, to follow through, to move forward when something felt right started again. Not perfectly, but consistently. And this is what happens when that protective pattern you have is no longer running the show. You become someone who can actually take action and move forward again. If you're listening to this and you're recognizing yourself in this lazy protection pattern and it's starting to make sense for you, take a moment to please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you're recognizing yourself in this pattern, trying to push through it, well, that's not going to work. You can't discipline your way out of this because this isn't about effort. It's about a part of you that is trying to protect you. So when you try to force yourself to take action, when you say, "I just need to try harder," or "I need more discipline," you're actually working against yourself. And that creates an internal conflict. There's a part of you that wants to move forward. And there's a part of you that is pulling you back. And the part that's trying to protect you will likely win. Not because you're weak, not because you lack willpower, but because to that part of you, it feels like this is survival. And it's strong in its response. So the more you push, the more resistance you feel, the more you avoid, the more you shut down, and then you end up right back where you started, telling yourself, "I'll try again tomorrow." This is why the pattern keeps repeating, not because you don't know what to do, but because a part of you is not on board with where you're trying to go. So the shift isn't about forcing yourself forward. It's about understanding and working with the part of you that's holding you back. So instead of asking yourself, "Why am I so lazy?" the real question becomes, what part of me is stopping me from taking action? And what is it trying to avoid? Because when you ask, why am I so lazy? You are judging yourself. You're making yourself the problem. But when you shift the question, you move out of judgment and into understanding. You begin to recognize that there's a reason a part of you is not willing to move forward, and that it's trying to avoid something. Maybe it's trying to prevent something. Maybe it learned at some point that moving forward wasn't a good idea. And until that part is understood and addressed, the pattern will continue, no matter how much you try to push yourself. The goal isn't to get rid of that part. It is to understand it and change your relationship with it, to stop fighting yourself. And that is where real change begins. If you're watching this video and realizing that there is a part of you that is keeping you in a freeze response, and it's showing up as what you have been calling laziness, I can help you identify, understand, and shift the part or parts of you that don't feel safe so that you can finally move forward and create what you want. I have been doing this work for over 2 decades, using the same process that I use on myself when I encounter a block. The first step to working with me is to watch the video that I have linked below in the description box. In the video, I walk you through the process I use with clients, share a little bit about my transformation story, and a real client case study. If after watching it you feel interested in working with me, you're welcome to fill out the private work application form. I only work with a small number of women at a time, and it is by application. And if we're a good fit, we will connect on a call and we will discuss what's not working in your life, what you want to change it to, and how we can work together to get you on your way and make that happen. And if private work is not for you right now, that's okay. I have plenty of videos here on my channel that will help you with your personal and spiritual growth work. And in fact, check out the video that's popping up on the screen right now. YouTube and I picked it out just for you. I'll see you over there.